Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your Stockminer Brian Johnson. Which way are we going to go this week? Up, down? News is thick. I have been getting bombarded the last week or so with all kinds of articles. The Hindenburg omen, we're bouncing off of this moving average, bearish, bullish. Everybody's got their own opinion. And only time will tell, really, honestly, which way we're ultimately going to end up going in the longer term. I've always approached my trading and still will continue to approach my trading from a very neutral standpoint. I usually am neutral to bullish or neutral to bearish, depending on what the charts are telling me. Every once in a while, I will get heavy something or another, bullish or bearish, as long as that is what the charts are telling me. So continuing forward, I am always going to be and have an open mind to anything and everything that I'm sent, from the way of newspaper articles, meaning things like Hindenburg omens, to potential reversal dates and moon and lunar cycles, and, and if there isn't 1,000 different ways to predict the market, it's pretty incredible actually. If you just stop and think about all of the many ways that people are trying to predict the market, it's really almost humorous at times. So I personally don't believe in that stuff. So I have just simply contacted my friends, and I have some family that still live on a farm here, and they spoke with their favorite pig, and he wasn't even sure which way things were going to go. It's just hilarious the way some people find to try to pick the market's move. Here at thestockminer.com, guys, I'm just going to continue to wait for the charts to tell me which way to go. And that is how I'm going to place my trades. It's actually worked very, very well for me. You guys can go back and kind of take a look at some of my older videos during some of these, are we going up, are we going down points where we're consolidating in the markets. And we've been able to pull some profits out of it. So I'm just going to continue to do what I do because I know it works. And this is what we're going to do coming into the new week. Where are we? I have to be neutral to bearish, guys. That's precisely what the charts are telling me to be right now. But we really haven't changed a lot of our levels. So if we look at the daily, we're just going to skip to the daily here on the Dow. You can see I drew in some new lines up and above. These are kind of the lines that the bears are definitely going to want to hold. Now, on the moving averages, you can see that we are below all three of them right now. We have two consecutive closes below this 50. Looking for potentially a retest. Maybe we get a retest tomorrow, and maybe we don't. It's really anybody's guess where we're going to go tomorrow morning. I've got all kinds of different prognosis coming in from different places. But where am I? Really kind of where I was last week, and that is if we can get below this 10-100, guys, I think that's a great opportunity for a short. Will it hold the first time? No, I'm not guaranteeing that. It might pop below 10-100 and get down to, that 1050-ish mark and then bounce back up to 10-100, leaving you with a very small trade or a very short trade on your hands. But still definitely worth the shot. So below 10-100 for a short. If you're going to go long, really, I'd be very cautious. We have the blue line. We have all these moving averages way up here along with the 50. I would not be looking to really get yourself on a more serious, I'm going to hold overnight type long until we were up over this. I'd make this market prove it to me at this point. You have to make it prove it to you. It's been very heavy the last few days. NASDAQ on a 60 is in the same boat. If there's anything I like to go long, it's usually the NASDAQ. If you are stuck on playing ETFs, I like to play the NASDAQ to the long side. But I'm not looking at anything till we get above this 1860-ish area. Back below 1810 or 1800, if you want to take a more speculative short on the NASDAQ, great. That would be the place to do it for sure if you're a big Qs person. Otherwise, back above 1860 for me on the NASDAQ and the ETFs. And you can see why up here. All of these moving averages are starting to kind of consolidate in the same area as they are on all of the other indices. I like to see those overhead resistance areas broken before I really start to take my trades. It is more conservative on my part, but while it does take longer for things to pan out, it does tend to bring back more and more consistent profits. From a weekly standpoint, you can see where we got stuck below the 50-week moving average. Breaks down below this area, give me opportunities at shorts, like I said, below the 1800-ish area or so. Really, if we get anywhere below the 1740 mark eventually, guys, that is a brilliant place to look to go short. I think that'd be a great opportunity there. On a 60-minute SPX, you can see where we've been slowly filing our way down. It started to, well, I shouldn't say it kind of slowed last week. It really didn't. The selling has continued to move the markets downwards. We did have a retest right up here on that 1080 and now back down again, hopping up here again, potentially moving to the downside. Only time will tell. But if we do get breaks tomorrow below this, about the 1065-ish level, that's a good place to start looking at your short opportunities. Really, make it 1060. 1060, and then I still have a little bit at 1055, some heavier at 1050. So we do have obviously support below us, but below that 1060 mark would be my first opportunity there, I think, at a short. Longs, yeah, it's got to get back up into this area, and that's really going to end up for me being above that 1100. I'm going to make this market prove it to me before I get long any of the markets. Weekly looking the same way. Looks like we might come back to retest this blue line. Still, and this is right around that 1050-ish area. So if we head downwards tomorrow, like I said, look for some potential support down in that 1050 area. If it continues to get heavy on the sell side, it will blow through these support levels like butter at that point. That is, then you should know if you take a short at like below 1060, if you start to see them break these levels pretty easily tomorrow, that should give you some pretty good confirmation that the selling is coming in harder and harder. So the bears will be in control at that point. VIX on a daily, same thing here. I can draw these lines a couple of different ways and have this VIX still in this falling wedge and or out of this falling wedge. I don't know. I'm still not real big on the TA thing for the VIX, but I do like this look. It does kind of look right to me at this point. Sometimes you just got to go on feel. So looking for added fear to come into the markets if you are looking for that bigger bearish move. This thing starts to come back down and retest these areas, we will see a further move to the upside in the markets. At least we should. From a weekly, you can see us kind of in this yellow zone waiting for something more major to happen. Apple is one of the stocks we always watch here, and you can see that it has gone really nowhere. We've had very little opportunities. There's been no opportunities to really swing trade this. If you want to hold it for a day or a couple days or a week or a couple weeks, whatever, there's been no opportunity to do that. Day trading has been the way to trade Apple lately. When it starts to move, and it's trending nicely as it did right back here on the 18th, move up, crash back down, or the move back on the 17th with the straight moves up. Those are great opportunities to trade Apple because it moves so much. It'll move, $4 or $5 a day at a $250 stock. Not bad movement. But when it's consolidating as it has been, it's just sloppy. From a daily, look how, what do you do with this? You don't do anything with it, guys. You stay away from it. If you're a swing trader, if you're an investment trader, if you're looking, hey, what am I going to do with Apple going long here? I'm going to show you the weekly. What I'm going to do with Apple, you know what? If you made a decision to go long Apple back here at 240, you're up $9 in 5 months, something to that effect. 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 or 5 months, you're up $9. So it's really going nowhere at this time. So we're still waiting for these breaks, either upwards or downwards. Now we are closer to obviously the bottom side of this little trading range we've been watching. So that may break eventually, but I am not putting it out of Apple's reach to get back up into this area. Why? Because it's such a fundamentally strong stock. So if this market does decide to run, I think Apple will go with it. It's been consolidating for a while. It's time for it to move one way or the other. FAS on a 60-minute, moving down, watching this overhead line for your long opportunities. I still prefer to see it up over 21 before you get long the FAS. Otherwise, below 1850 is not a bad trade to the downside. You'll want to watch $18. We've been playing this thing for 50 cents to $1, and that's about all we're getting out of this FAS and FAZ lately. Sometimes we get a little bit of a cherry on top where it will run a little bit deeper, but for the most part, we're just taking conservative entries and we're making 50 cents to $1 on this trade. It's not bad trading. It's not bad trading, but like Apple, you've got to find the right days to do it. You can't trade this thing every day. FAZ in the same boat. If it can get back up above 1650, I like it to the long side. If it gets back, and I'm going to say it's got to get back below 15 for me. There's a lot of support now here underneath of it, but if it'll get back below about the $15 mark here, I think there could be a little bit more and a heavier run to the downside in FAZ. But you can see if we can get up and over the 1650 mark, that's above the 200-day moving average. That puts us securely, I think, above it for the time being, and then pushes up to, look at this, maybe 18 or 1850. Wow, something more than a 50-cent run would be wonderful, and we might get it if we can just get back up above 1650. This is a good opportunity, guys, if you want to know, to take this trade above 1650, put a little stop back down here, and then see if it runs, see if it goes anywhere. If you're an EW guy, you might have tried to count a 5-wave out of this, and now maybe we're headed down. Still got to be very cautious, but I like it only below the $15-ish mark or below the 50-day moving average for the more conservative. That'll do it for today's video. I'll be back with you tomorrow night. Guys, just watch those levels, and you'll be fine in your trading. See you tomorrow night.